Please be seated. Students, family members, friends, faculty and staff, good afternoon and welcome to the 2013 Carlson School of Management Undergraduate Commencement Ceremony. Woo! Before we begin, I wish to acknowledge some special guests, many of whom have guided you through what I hope has been a life-changing experience. Please hold your applause, and we will recognize all of these special guests together. First and foremost, Eric Kaler, President of the University of Minnesota, the Honorable Richard Beeson, representing the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, our keynote speaker, Peter McCormick, co-founder and Senior Vice President, Corporate Development, Exact Target, George John, Associate Dean of Faculty and Research, representing the undergraduate program, Associate Dean Ian Maitland, and Assistant Dean Mary Mouse-Kozer, and President of the Carlson Alumni Board, Craig Seitel, and distinguished faculty and guests. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I would also like to take a moment to recognize a group who was critical to the success of our students, but is often overlooked, the family and friends of our students. The support network you provided to your loved one during their studies was really instrumental to their success. You deserve to share in the joy of this day and the accomplishment it celebrates. Let's give all of you a huge round of applause. Today is, in fact, a day of celebration, one in which we present Carlson School of Management graduates with degrees that recognize their tireless effort, acknowledge their scholarly achievements, and serve as symbols of the transformative impact of business education. Regardless of what path you choose upon leaving here today, please know that your degree has made you better prepared to shape your future and shape the future of business. Earlier this school year, I had the great pleasure of visiting with our alumni at an event in San Francisco. You may not know this, but the city of San Francisco is home to just 2 companies in the top 25 of Fortune magazine's annual list of the 500 largest companies in America. The CEOs of those 2 companies aren't from Berkeley or UCLA, as you might suppose. They aren't even from nearby Stanford. No, the leaders of these 2 Fortune 25 companies received their diplomas right here from the University of Minnesota's Carlson School of Management. Ooh. That's a nice bit of trivia to carry away. Anyway, graduates, when you receive your Carlson School diploma, you will have joined a network that is 50,000 strong and in 95 countries. And as part of this network, you will have a connection, you will share a bond with 2 of the most distinguished and influential leaders in corporate America today, John Stumpf of Wells Fargo and John Hammergren of McKesson. You didn't have to look it up in your iPhones, are 2 San Francisco-based alumni. If that isn't a testament to endless possibilities ahead of you, I don't know what is. There is not much that Carlson School grads cannot or are not doing. In addition to leading our nation's top corporations, they're starting new enterprises, like our speaker today, founding and running nonprofits, and showing that business is indeed a force for the good. I'm so excited every time I hear a story of what our graduates are doing. I'm even more thrilled when they return to campus and share their experiences and talents with our students. This group, to which you just became members, is an amazing collection of people who are constantly looking for ways to make the school, our community, and their degree from the University of Minnesota even more meaningful. I hope you will follow their lead and do the same. In turn, know that we will always be here to assist you with your continued pursuit of knowledge and professional development. Graduates, on behalf of the University of Minnesota and the faculty and staff of the Carlson School, please accept my sincere congratulations. We are incredibly proud of what you have already accomplished and look forward to all that you will achieve in future. Don't forget, you're always welcome back to tell us about it. At this time, it gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Peter McCormick, who will deliver this year's commencement keynote address. Peter McCormick has both an undergraduate degree and an MBA from the Carlson School of Management at the University of Minnesota. Peter secured a summer internship at Steelcase, he'll tell you more about it, the world's leading manufacturer of office furniture. Upon earning his BSB in 1991, he accepted a full-time position in Steelcase. A year after receiving his MBA in the evening program in 1999, Peter founded ExactTarget. ExactTarget is a leading global provider of digital marketing software solutions, and he did this with two business partners. In 2012, ExactTarget recorded revenues of close to $300 million and completed one of the largest software-as-service initial public offerings in the history of the New York Stock Exchange. Since founding the company, Peter built and led many of the functional areas across the business, including sales, marketing, services, product development, and partnership programs with leading technology firms such as Microsoft, Salesforce.com, and Adobe. In 2009, Peter and his family moved from Mahtomedi, Minnesota, to London, where he launched ExactTarget's global operations and served as general manager of ExactTarget Global. Over the next 3 years, Peter led a team that opened offices in London, Stockholm, Paris, Munich, Melbourne, Sydney, Tokyo, and Sao Paulo. His hard work paid off. Last year, ExactTarget's revenue outside of the US accounted for more than $50 million. Today, as one of the original co-founders, Peter spearheads corporate development at ExactTarget, focusing on acquisitions and partnerships to expand the company's product functionality and geographic reach. Ladies and gentlemen, graduating class of 2013, please join me in welcoming your fellow Carlson graduate, Peter McCormick.
As we're starting here at Mariucci, I've got to start with Go Gophers. You're correct, Dean. They are a lot livelier than the master's and PhD candidates. Thank you, Regent Beeson, President Kaler, Dean Zahir, distinguished faculty, alumni, and guests. And more importantly, congratulations to the Carlson class of 2013, your friends, family, and supporting cast. I am truly honored to be here with you today, and I realize everybody says that when they start a commencement address. But not many people can say that the University of Minnesota or the Carlson School played such an enormous role in their lives. Carlson is where I got my first real job. Carlson is where I received my education and made the friends that helped me start a company. And the U is where I met my wife, Denise, a fellow Gopher. I have to admit, I'm a ringer. Not only did I go to Carlson twice, but the location for the graduation here at Mariucci Arena is the reason I ended up at the University of Minnesota. My dad and I are huge college hockey fans, and in growing up in Madison, you're going to clap for the huge college hockey fans, I'll take it. Growing up in Madison, there was nothing better than coming up to Minneapolis for the Gopher Badger hockey series. This was in the era of Bob Johnson and Herb Brooks, and for the younger folks in the crowd, those are legendary hockey coaches. It was a huge, huge deal as a kid. Even bigger deal was realizing that a Big Ten university could be in a city, not a college town, but a real city. A few years later, when I learned about tuition reciprocity, my mind was made up. And in fact, without being 100% truthful with my dad, I never so much as applied to the University of Wisconsin. only to the U. Sorry, Dad. To make matters worse for my father, who's a proud owner of Badger hockey, basketball, and football season tickets, and even has my grandfather's Packer tickets, my younger sister Megan followed me to the U, getting both her undergrad and her master's degree from the School of Education and Human Development. And I guess, Dad, you should have had more than a couple of kids. Mariucci continued to play a large role. I got student tickets as an undergrad. They were directly behind a post, so I could see just one end of the rink. I scored 2 of the ugliest goals imaginable at the old Mariucci as part of the Sigma Nu intramural hockey team. And if you're sitting in section 1, row 19, seats 1 and 2, and I think somebody is, you're in my season tickets. Right down the road in Dinkytown was the setting for the most important day of my life. It was May of 1987. My freshman year was just winding down, and I desperately wanted to stay in Minneapolis for the summer. But doing so meant finding a job near campus. And at the time, the only place you could find a job near campus is the want ads in the Minnesota Daily. So being the wildly selective guy that I was, read through the Daily, I found a want ad with a giant $sign. Absolutely no description of the role, just a giant $sign. So of course, I ran off to the interview. I didn't end up getting the job, and it was a truly horrible job. It was selling dry cleaning coupons door to door in the western suburbs. So I didn't get the job, but I eventually got the girl. Denise is from White Bear Lake, as they say in the movie Fargo, go Bears. And thank God she desperately needed a job that day too. The huge $sign in the ad cast a spell on both of us. And it didn't hurt that my buddy Jason Nitchie read Denise's name upside down off her job application. Spring of '87 was big for me, even beyond meeting Denise. That spring, I met 4 people at Sigma Nu fraternity, right on University Avenue, that played big roles in my business career. Many of you probably know Scott Littman, very successful business person here in the Twin Cities, co-founder of the Minnesota Cup, which is associated with the Home Center and the Carlson School. But back in '87, Scott was just the older, cool guy in the fraternity. He had an unbelievable car. It was a Saab. It was so cool, in fact, he would never let us move it in the parking lot. He also had a stock ticker in his room, and this is well before the age of the internet. I mean, he was happening. And Scott was already interested in business and already making investments, and he helped me to see that I could pursue a career in business. Up to that point, it had never occurred to me. 3 other people I met at Sigma Nu, Sean Ryan, Kurt Olson, and Dwayne Poole, became some of the earliest investors in ExactTarget. These 3 guys quit their jobs, invested their money, and for 2 of them, even brought their own laptop to help us start the business. One of those guys, Dwayne Poole, he and I went to Commencement together in 1991, undergrad Commencement at Northrop. We sat right next to one another. And more than 20 years later, I stood right next to Dwayne, and we got a chance to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. So I don't know if there's a lesson in there for all of you guys, but look to the person right next to you and be awfully nice. You may be dealing with them on a daily basis 25 years from now. 1987 was also the year I decided to apply to Carlson. And I wish I could say that it was hours of self-examination or deep insight that led me to business school. It wasn't. It was an 8 a.m. French class at Falwell Hall. The class was not going well. I'm sure it was a combination of my inability to learn language and the fact that it was 8 a.m. on a Friday. I was 18. Ask yourself what you were doing at 18. Well, ask yourself what you're doing this Friday or this Thursday night. Luckily for me, my roommate at Middlebrook Hall, Ken Griswold, was the one person on the planet that changed majors more often than I did. And after I returned from one of those awful French classes, I did what all college freshmen do. I paged through my roommate's mail, and in his mail, I found a Carlson brochure, and I recognized they had no language requirement. So I decided to apply on the spot. After realizing that I liked and I was actually okay at the Carlson prereqs of accounting and econ, I knew that I'd found my calling. So it's kind of funny to think that I selected a major primarily because it didn't have a foreign language, and a couple decades later moved my family from Mahtomedi to London and ended up opening offices in Europe and Asia and Australia and South America. But it was through those travels and some experiences along the way that I found three key pieces of advice for building a successful career, and none of them involve learning French. First piece of advice, it's all about energy and enthusiasm. In the summer of 1990, before my second senior year at Carlson, and the dean has agreed that everybody gets a second senior year, I was lucky enough to land an internship at Steelcase. And as the dean mentioned, Steelcase is and was the largest manufacturer of office furniture in the world. The internship paid $10 an hour, 10 bucks. Thought I was rich. I got the internship through a series of interviews at the Carlson placement office. One of the interviews even involved my first business trip to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was scared. Worked out all right, though. A few weeks later, I got a call from the Steelcase HR rep saying, "Good news, Peter, we'd love to offer you an internship." I said, "Fantastic." Then he followed up and said, what city would you like to live in? And I, of course, said, Minneapolis. And he said, "Okay, that's fine, but can you give me a backup city in case Minneapolis doesn't work out?" And I said, "Sure, Atlanta. My mom lives in Atlanta. I can live with her. If not, this 10 bucks an hour is not going to go that far." The day before my last final, and 5 days before the internship was supposed to start, Steelcase HR rep calls back and says, "Peter, good news, bad news. Bad news, we have an intern in Minneapolis, and we have an intern in Atlanta. But the good news is there's this brand new regional manager in Cleveland, and he would love a summer intern." So I finished up my last final. I packed everything I owned that night into my Honda Accord, including a really sweet tape deck, because it's still 1990. I drove to Cleveland, somehow found a furnished apartment, and on the first morning of my internship, that first Monday morning, I drove around downtown Cleveland with an actual physical map. I'm sure none of you have seen an actual physical map. I was driving around Cleveland with the map, ready to cry, looking for an address. There was no Google Maps. You couldn't carry the internet around in your pants. I was looking for a physical address. No one ever told me the BP building is the one tall building in downtown Cleveland. My internship started. I got to do many glamorous, highly strategic business tasks, which I'm sure many of you will get a chance to do. I reorganized the fabric samples. On really good days, I got to deliver huge specification binders to architectural firms in Cleveland. And if I was really good, I got to go all the way to Akron and Canton, still with that folding map in my pocket. But that summer, I got the best and the most lasting piece of business advice in my career from that regional manager, Steve Morrow, who was new to Cleveland. Steve invested a ton of time in me and actually took me for beers, which was pretty novel. In one of our early conversations, Steve explained that as the new guy, as the intern, I was never going to know as much or have as much experience as everyone else in the room. Steve said, my business career and life in general was going to be a lot like the first day of the internship. And he taught me that the one thing that you can control, the one thing that you have control over at all time, is your energy and your enthusiasm. No matter what happens, you and only you can decide how hard to try and to do it with a smile on your face. Throughout my career, I've applied what quickly became known as the energy and enthusiasm rule to tons of situations and countless hiring decisions. The decisions were not always a success, and the hires were not always stellar. But in my experience, energy and enthusiasm tend to win the day. And I bet that some of you, after the ceremony and the ensuing celebration, are going to be packing up your car and heading to your version of Cleveland. Maybe some of you literally. My suggestion to all of you, remember Steve Morrow, my regional manager, and remember the one thing you can control. My second piece of business advice for a successful career is ride the big waves. After heading back to Carlson for my second and final senior year, I got a job full-time at Steelcase. And after a few years of working in sales in Pittsburgh and West Virginia and beautiful upstate New York, I was promoted to a position that I truly coveted, field training consultant. In fact, it's interesting. The person that gave me that job, Rick Atherton, is actually here with me, one of the great managers at Steelcase. His daughter, Kelsey, is graduating today from Carlson. Kelsey, you're out there somewhere, aren't you? It's unbelievable. So, Kelsey, the fact that you're graduating today makes me feel old. I can only imagine what your dad feels like right now. From that training role, I was able to create materials for new product launches, and eventually I got an assignment that changed the direction of my career. I was added to a team that created the first CBT, computer-based training at Steelcase. And I'm sure to all of you it's going to seem hopelessly dated to tell you that that training intervention was delivered on a CD-ROM. I should also tell you that I learned the term training intervention from Professor Wamberg. And Connie, if you're here, thank you for making me sound smart at work, and thank you for helping me get that assignment. But working with technology and specifically developing software opened up a whole new world for me. Compared to manufacturing office furniture, the time from an idea to a product seemed like light speed. The conceptual nature of the work also appealed to my short attention span. Working on the CD was a giant wake-up call. If a project to produce software at an office furniture manufacturer could move that quickly, what would it be like working for a company that did nothing but build software? As much as I loved working for Steelcase, and as appreciative as I was for all the support that people there gave me, I wish someone would have explained to me when I graduated as an undergrad the importance of being close to growth in your business career. Working on that CD-ROM created an opportunity for me to see a huge wave emerging, one fueled by technology and a shift in how people would choose to take in information. When we started ExactTarget, we were smart enough, or most people would say lucky enough, to see two huge waves in the economy and build a company around them. The first wave was software as a service, today called cloud computing. Delivering software via browser versus traditionally through a CD or DVD created a huge amount of growth in the business sector and huge numbers of opportunities. Salesforce.com is the first and probably the most famous example of a cloud computing company. And in 14 years, the same age as our son, Salesforce.com has created $26 billion in market cap, countless opportunities for their employees and in the ecosystem. The second wave that we rode when we started the business was the shift from offline to online marketing. Growth of the internet was really taking off, and mass media like billboards and TV, the stuff of the Mad Men era, was on the decline. Personal communications directly to the individual were growing. We built a company to help businesses manage that change, and today we're the largest pure-play software as a service marketing firm in the world. I'm not suggesting that you build a software as a service company or one that looks at digital marketing. In fact, I prefer that you don't. We don't need the competition. But what I would like to share with you today is what I wished I would have heard upon graduating. Look for companies, look for jobs, look for assignments within your current employers, the same way that you would screen a stock. Look for huge shifts in the economy and run to those. Ride the big waves. My final piece of advice and challenge for each of you is the simplest. Start a company. Going to business school and never starting a company, it would be like going to dental school and never pulling a tooth. My father-in-law is here today, John Kenyon, 1958 graduate from the University of Minnesota Dental School. He started a very successful practice, so he got to both start a business and pull teeth. Can't beat that, John. By the way, there'll never be an optimal time. There'll never be a good time to start a business. There wasn't for me. I finished my MBA right after our son PJ was born in 1998, and right before our daughter Julia was born in 1999. And see, guys, I got both of your names in the speech, equal airtime. And yes, our kids were born 16 months apart, and as I like to say, evidently I was just that attractive for a very short period of time. Right after I got my MBA, I landed what I thought was my dream job at a venture capital firm that had specialized in investing in software and technology companies. The firm was based in Chicago. And while that software company, and actually ultimately the VC, failed, it allowed us an opportunity to start ExactTarget. You're going to find there's a million great reasons to start a business. But when I thought about writing the speech, there was one that jumped off the page. Starting a business is the best way to land a job that you're not remotely qualified to achieve through an interview. Who in their right mind was going to hire me to run product development at a software as a service firm with no engineering background? I was the guy in high school when my dad said I should take a typing class that said, "Dad, what am I going to do with my life where I'm going to sit behind a keyboard?" But not having a clue about software and software architecture was actually an advantage. Owning the business forced me to go out and create low-fidelity PowerPoint prototypes and take those to customers and see if or how they would actually use the software. Becoming general manager at ExactTarget Global and getting a chance to open offices all over the world is another example of a job you're only going to get by starting a company. Remember, I was the guy who picked Carlson because I didn't have to take French. I learned a ton in both roles. My palms sweat a lot, maybe not quite as much as they are right now. But I was able to deliver business results and amazing experiences that are forever shaped the way I look at the world. And by the way, this type of learning applies to any size business. You don't have to cash in your wife's 401k to start the business, although thanks, honey. You don't have to get venture capital backing, and you don't have to go public to have the same experiences. Starting any size business will do. Just the act of creating a business entity, thinking about a product or a service, and then actually going out there and selling it to a customer who pays you money is all it takes. Graduating today has huge advantages. Starting a business has never been cheaper or easier. The internet and cloud computing has democratized business. Google AdWords, Amazon Web Services, LinkedIn, Salesforce.com, ExactTarget make the smallest startup look like and compete with the largest business. I have an opportunity now to live in New York, and in a corporate development role with mergers and acquisitions, I have a chance to see startups every day. And I'm continually amazed at how much cheaper, faster, and easier it is to start a business today than it was all the way back in December of 2000. I encourage all of you to use the knowledge and the network that you've gained from this fantastic business school and start plotting your course to start a business. You'll learn a ton, and it's the single best way to continue your business education. Your graduation today marks the next phase in your business career. I'd encourage you to do 3 things. 1, apply the energy and enthusiasm rule. 2, identify huge shifts in the economy and run to those big waves. And finally, at least one time in your career, start your own business. Congratulations to each of you for this incredible accomplishment, and congratulations to your friends and family members, remember to thank them, by the way, that have invested so much time to help you reach this milestone. My sincere wish for all of you is that your time at the University of Minnesota and the Carlson School of Management will have the same positive impact on your business career and on your life as it has on mine. Good luck. Go Gophers.
Thank you, Peter, for those inspiring remarks and encouraging us to boldly run and ride the big waves. Maybe we should reinstate a language requirement at Carlson. Anyhow, next I'd like to introduce Mary Mouse-Kozer, the Assistant Dean of our undergraduate program. She will present the Carlson School's beloved Tomato Can Loving Cup Award. Mary, would you please come to the podium?
The Carlson School has numerous outstanding students, and some of their special achievements are indicated in today's program. But in the interest of time, we ask only one student to come on stage to receive an award. The Tomato Can Loving Cup Award is the oldest award given to students by the Carlson School of Management. Today, it is being presented to an outstanding undergraduate for the 84th consecutive year, a very momentous occasion in the history of the Carlson School of Management. The award itself is indeed an old tomato soup can, which we have preserved over the years, and on it are the signatures and engraved names of the 83 previous recipients. The Tomato Can Award recipient, following 2 years of professional work experience, is eligible for a half-tuition scholarship to the Carlson full-time MBA program. While I provide a brief summary of the accomplishments of this year's winner, I would like him to please come forward to receive the award. Eric White, would you join me on stage? When I think of a person who best exemplifies the character of this award, Eric immediately comes to mind. He has been an exemplary student leader and will certainly continue to make the Carlson School and the University of Minnesota proud as he graduates today. The University of Minnesota is extremely lucky to have students of Eric's caliber representing us. He has been a dedicated student in both academics and extracurricular activities throughout his college career. He not only strives for excellence in his academics, but he truly loves learning and preparing himself for the future and engaging in his community fully. Eric entered the Carlson School as a freshman 4 years ago, and his contributions to the university community are numerous, including serving on the Business Week Executive Board for 3 years, including coordinator of Business Week this year, his action as a Carlson School ambassador since fall 2009, his participation and representation of the school in multiple case competitions around the country, as well as his time serving on the search committee for the university's new provost, a Carlson crew leader, an advisor on the Vice Provost Undergraduate Advisory Board. You get the idea. He successfully completed multiple internships, including one at Target in finance and accounting, and another at the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. Eric has made the most of his time as an undergraduate student here at the U. And in each of these roles, Eric has proven himself a dedicated, engaged, and ethical leader. Completing a major in finance with a minor in Spanish studies, Eric is graduating with honors today and stands as an excellent role model for his fellow classmates and for all of us here today. Those of us who have had the opportunity to work with Eric know that his approachable demeanor, commitment, and passion will take him far in life. Eric will be heading to Target after graduation to begin his career as a planning analyst in the Finance and Accounting Development Program. I'd like to introduce Eric White, class of 2013. It is now my pleasure to welcome our ceremony's student speaker, Valerie Ajgaukar. Val began her college career at the Carlson School of Management 4 years ago as a freshman and has been an active and engaged student as this year's president of the Business Association of Multicultural Students and Student of the Year in 2012, a Carlson ambassador, a community advisor, and a peer career coach. She is graduating today with a BSB in marketing and a BA in economics. After graduation, she'll be working in sales at Unilever. Val hails from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Please join me in welcoming Val Ajgaukar to the stage.
Class of 2013, welcome to this moment. Welcome to the brief pause in the journey that is your life. Take a look around. Enjoy the metaphorical view. Think of just how much you have learned, accomplished, and changed in the past few years. For example, when I was a 17-year-old freshman, my favorite fruit was grapes. Now, as a 21-year-old senior, my favorite fruit is still grapes, just fermented and served in a bottle. But seriously, we've all had long and winding journeys to get to this moment. Words are inadequate to express the gratitude I feel towards my parents, family, teachers, and community for helping me get to this point. Today, as we walk across their stage to receive our beautiful diploma holders from Dean Zahir, think about all of those you have to thank for it. Some of those people are here today, including parents, family, friends, teachers, staff, faculty, and others who are close to you. And all of us have people to thank who today, unfortunately, could not be with us. There's one person in my mind who's had a direct impact on all of us. Bob Ruckert, the former Associate Dean of the Undergraduate program, who passed away in September of 2012 after a grueling battle with cancer. Because of Bob, we all had amazing international study abroad experiences. Because of Bob, we all got to learn in the beautiful Hanson Hall. And because of Bob, our educations were transformed for the better in ways we will never know. I'd like us all to take a moment now to think of him and all of those who mattered so much to us graduates, who today are here with us in spirit. I recently came across an article about a nurse who spent many years caring for patients in the last 12 weeks of their lives and recording their last epiphanies. The most common regret of all, I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life that others expected of me. True to myself. Really think about that. It's a powerful thought. But what does it mean? So often we graduates get advice telling us to chase our passions and go out there and do what we love. And in theory, that advice is excellent. 2 years ago, author Cal Newport decided to put this theory to the test and spent years interviewing people who claimed they loved their jobs and were incredibly passionate about what they were doing. And this included everyone from organic farmers to venture capitalists. Now, what did he find? Passion isn't something that hits most people with a lightning bolt of epiphany, but rather something that takes a long time of hard work as you become excellent at something valuable. Now, coming from the instant gratification generation, I wasn't so sure that I liked this passion takes forever mentality. But then I realized this is the best news I've heard in a long time. You see, when I was a kid, when we were all kids, people were always asking us, "So kiddo, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And depending on the day, I would answer either princess or presbytera ayerses, which is president/veterinarian/lawyer/princess. But lately, people have stopped asking us, as if picking a major in college means we've got it all figured out. To be honest, I have no idea what my passions are. But the good news for those of us who feel that way is that passion comes as a side effect of mastery. And I know that in a few decades, we're all going to find ourselves at that happy intersection of what we want to do, what we do well, and what we can be paid to do. Now, decades of managerial research has taught us that highly accomplished people, much like the good-looking group seated before me, have three factors. They are motivated, talented, and take advantage of the opportunities they see. An award-winning researcher at the University of Pennsylvania recently uncovered a critical fourth element. Successful people are not just those who are concerned with their own well-being, but those who are highly concerned with others. Think of the successful people you know, and this theory makes a lot of sense. Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Eric White. In a nutshell, the most successful people are givers. They are generous with their time and expertise and go out of their way to help others succeed with no foreseeable payback of their own. Class of 2013, I believe that people like us, people who are as talented and ambitious and motivated and who are given as many opportunities as we were, have a duty to leave this terrible, beautiful, messed up planet just a little better than how we found it. with the added bonus of helping ourselves find success too. Now, luckily, there are hundreds of ways to give back. We can volunteer at the Humane Society, coach a Little League team, or, hey, we can even donate a couple bucks to our favorite undergraduate institution of higher learning. Okay. In all seriousness, giving back is about so much more than just donating time or money. It's about living with compassion and doing our very best to be engaged, caring citizens and reconsidering how we interact with everyone we meet. Before I go, I'd like to paraphrase a passage written by a monk in 1100 AD. When I was a young woman, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change my nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, and as an older woman, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old woman, I realize that the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly, I realized that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on the town. Our impact could have changed the nation. And I indeed could have changed the world. Class of 2013, it starts with us. Let's find our passions, live with compassion, and the world will indeed be a better place. Good luck, congratulations, and enjoy some fermented grapes.
At this time, we will begin the presentation of degrees. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Business degree please rise as directed by the marshals? And will the first row of candidates please come forward? I invite Regent Beeson, President Kaler, and Associate Dean of the Undergraduate Program, Ian Maitland, to join me at the certificate table for the presentation of degrees.
Valerie Ajgaukar. Kelsey Daler. Rashni Mulalitharan. Elena Buchwald. Eric Lean. Samuel Glennon. Derek Lundy. Reed Thompson. Anthony Clemens. Eric Wenz. Logan Morse. Aaron Overfors. Bradley Steckman. Connor McIntyre. Vadim Komisarchik. Samuel Gilbertson. Garrett Bloom. John Coleman. Joshua Slutton. Sarah Trevarthen. Lisa Keefe. Arlene Schuweiler. Caroline Hemmer. Olivia Hendricks. Rachel Kraska. Catherine Paul. Jacqueline Shepard. Simone Y. Lauren Blanchin. Megan Turvo. Matthew Riedel. Bashir Bashir. Andrew Russo. Stephen Moyer. Andrea Kramer. Brody Rennan. Alexander Casey. Adam Stevens. Bryce Bilkey. Jordan Freitag. Marcus Clemens. Melissa Hurad. Bethany Davis. Jade Anderson. Emily Ritchie. Bethany Burt. Connor Flaherty. Sarah Wright. Caroline Jordan. Lindsay Hill. Rachel Wiedenbacher. Joseph Kunitz. Charles Kranz. Julie Baumgartner. Hillary Lehman. Jordan Thurston. Marco Rodriguez. Andrew Everson. Vit Hong. Austin Loeb. Jacob Grogan. Alex Holmberg. Jack Hartley. Benjamin Gonsher. Shane Thompson. Mandy Selvey. Kayla Narum. Joseph Sobrowski. Carly Mathieson. Jessica Brion. Anna Fluellen. Gao Chong Lee. Nicole Slapika. Caitlin Amstadt. Tyler Picken. Amy Myers. Lenore Pop. Andrew Schmidt. Nicholas Guzmano. Angel Hachtoyanov. Jeffrey Hong. Benjamin Jewett. Brian Wilkins. Sheila Cheng. Adam Zumbrunnen. Louis Lochner. Stephen Roaring. Aaron Gigler. Julia Diggs. Christopher Allers. Jacob Hernandez. Ashley Menard. Wendy Hansen. Anthony Sinstegard. Brett Hensrud. Gage Keffring. Christopher Keel. William Morrissey. Lauren Bannock. Matthew Mamrosh. Justin Johnson. Marissa Frank. Michelle Panning. Joshua Tiedemann. Andrew Fuller. David Bardan. Nicholas Miller. Zachary Wetstein. John Keller. Alex Carlin. Christopher Hansen. Justin Milan. Carson Reed. Allie Hawes. Kyle Vasky, Mackie Anderson, Matthew Tom, Alex Nelson, Parker Stanley, Wayne Grimmer, Sean McConnell, Alexander Baker, Claire Repp, Carissa Ranum, Craig Richter, Thomas Klun, Eric White, Trenton Lill, Allison Oxner, Thomas Schrader, Joshua Haft, Derek Bryant, Paige Wetterstrom, Caitlin Hunt, Sagar Shah, Michael Peterson, Sarah Shapiro, Abby Schoenfeld, Nora Simonson, Christopher Eicher, Joseph Anderson, Brandon Aronson, Joshua Habrick, Megan Mell, Jane Yee, Nicholas Willis, Lexi Voigt, Mary Lynch, Yusuke Takenokuchi, Christy Eder, Joshua Needham, Martin Cohn, Jessica Pollock, Michelle Rosas, Taylor Danielson, Lauren Harvey, Anna Kolbeck, Reese Canel, Gilles Gerliang, Michael Danley, Alexa Beck, Stephanie Erickson, Abigail Shantz, Caitlin Sewell, Heidi Shantz, Sarah Strawn, James McMahon, Michael Lee, Brett Jordahl, Jordan Berg, Samantha Bisher, Andrea Sandy, Connor Caprian, Michael Onken, Zachary Williams, Jordan Wetstein, Gregory Yaturbo, Corey Johnsrud, Christopher Sapper, Alexander Chica, Nun Pam, Han Lee, Van Wen, Hang Nguyen, Tak Nguyen, Taylor Weinstock, Claire Reeder, Bailey Black, Bailey Purgett, Lindsay Rushmeyer, Luis Guitar. Tara Tetzlaff. Garrett Schaefer. Joshua Grunholz. Eric Ordahl. Anthony Slozinski. Jordan Boniface. Amanda Abrahamson. Jesse Koffenberg. Andrew Maher. Joshua Bonner. Matthew Wright. Karen Holmes. Maxie Thor. Muhammad Islam. Amir Kian. Thomas Colby III. Allison Hinderrocker. Jessica Shore. Benjamin Paranto. Tyler Mandry. Sean Asatier. Brett Thompson. Zachary Henderson. Peter Park. John Romans. Alexander Ryan. Blake Rabens. Kirk Gilbertson. Alexander Hoffman. Thomas Rosengren. Matthew Schottish. Jeffrey Fitzpatrick. Rachel Hunter. Sean Lee. John Ballesteros. Chao Huyn. Anthony Lim. Derek Bean. Jennifer Chu. Wendy Liu. Michelle Lee. Helen Lin. Blake Pieper. Natalie Surya. Emmanuel Irby. Grant Johnson. Dylan Takovic. Patrick O'Brien. Michael Spencer. Michael Patton. Elizabeth Hupsch. Erin Pascaleva. Kimberly Branch. Shayna Gilbert. Sonia Stegman. Wendy Schmidt. Megan McGuff. Alex Vo. Leah Van Busekam. Ellen Schneider. Parker Mullins. Brett Johnston. Virginia Chan. Andrea Gorman. Daniel Mullinen. Yan Ujien. Da Yi. Yang Anshi. Ing Wen Kai. Brett Jonas. Libby Anderson. Jacob Ferraro. Brian Dopp. Jacqueline Ebnett. Daniel Norgren. Hannah Cairns, Madeline Canese, Rachel Nichols, Yasmin Ghanem, Alexandra Basalo, Michelle Reed, Molly Meeker, Erica Johnston, Samantha Schlusher, Emily Rutten, Chelsea Manor, Marissa Feld, Peyton Larson, Laura Smith, Matthew Miller, Nathan Tennant, Nicholas Boreen, Anna Ressman, Angela Offerman, Stephanie Tomchek, Deepak Janardhan, Manu Narayan, Alden Chung, Matthew Stang, Taylor Williams, Shi Jiaong, Yu Lu, Len Mong, Qian Chu, Pong Mi Sha, Chen Da Peng, Xia Lei, Li Suki, David Mim, Spencer Lee, Jack Stein, Michaela Minion, Robert Voppel, Alexander Myers, Rachel Schuler, Andrew Ost, Teresa Olinger, Lauren Bevington, Christopher Van Doren, Mallory Brothen, Kirsten Cruz, Rachel Ingebretson, Kayla Berg, Daniel Wesser, Daniel Leesener, James Thorson, Yu Ong, Tu Yabin, Zhou Zilan, Ye Shuyan, Xie Chenxi, Zhong Miao, Emily Smythe, Catherine Su, Kyle Kroll, Jonathan Schrader, Hannah Elton, Joshua Minkoff, Patrick Fagan, Anthony Dodge, Bradley Dahman, Alina Hagnes, Tracy Bierke, Sharon Nelson, Lee Sheen, Holly Ashe, Chad LeBaron, Catherine Turin, Sarah Mextrath, Mary Johnson, Kim Kawatra, David Soban, Miles Malone, DJ Wesley, Samuel Petrini, Curtis Ware, Michael Conacher. Jordan Shop. Michael Canavati. Luke Reiter. Marvin Wensman. Zachary Byrice. Jonathan Mavitz. Kunal Tandon. Brian Butterfield. Jonathan Van Koolen. Matthew Phillips. Samantha Nelson. Kristen Hebert. Bridget Thompson. Kelsey Wanmacher. Carolyn Nelson. Allison Welby. Lizzie Shea. Nino Chaparavdich. Vili Periskov. Emma Zwig. Evan Shodin. Makel Broplay. Ian Pattison. Ryan Bruckman. An Wonjin. Cho Hanjin. Lee Sun Ah. Angela Folker. Nehemiah Choi. Ryan Beisch. Alexa Anderson. Lee Ga Young. Kelly Hansen. Megan McCord. Mariah Redman. Nadia Ozanova. Jessica Schmidt. Kelly Anderson. Andrew Klein. Ryan O'Connell. Andrew Hausch. Sarah Buka. Catherine Hubert. Krissa Anderson. Mitchell Sherman. Michael Graves. Spencer Barrett. Adam Chernoff. Casey Skibo. Thomas Lindberg. Matthew Holtz. William Finnegan. Scott Lewis. Andrew Davolis. Adam Mott. Mackenzie Miller. Megan Warner Akradi. Jess Carthy. Brenna Judd. Tate Hawkes. Joseph Petrullo. Kyle Schroeder. Anthony Centurion. Andrew Christensen. Jonathan Brennan. Corey Landis. Lu Cho-yi. Wang Shachi. Li Chen. Wu Xiaoyue. Lu Yao. Yong Zhao Chen. Alan Osmanovich. Vincent Fan. Courtney Thomas. Danielle Ketter. Taylor Krall. Kelsey Atherton. Natalie Koslowski. Caitlin Carlson. Gloria Head. Salimi Corey. Carrie Wickman. Bailey Wolf. Erin O'Connor. Aubrey Schultz. Jake Anderson. Ryan Walgren. Jason Glatt. Brett Tortorisi. Scott Palmer. Greg Berman. Eric Brandon. Sean Clune. Donnie Harrop. Philip Norman. Kevin Monette. Laura Chichao. Elena Pam. Tobias Jiang. John Leo. Meryl Luker. Allison Sire. Nicholas Ramsey. Joseph Howe. Jason Chen. Yuan Wang. Shui Shui. Liao Gerhan. Li Shren. Sarah Hirsch. Taryn Croson. Danielle Storm. Sarah Dede. Melissa Price. Michael Plath. Dustin Jurek. Hayden Esch. Daniel Shala. Theodore Skospan. Alexander Gale. Joseph Halloran. Andrew Ciro. Kelly Kosanda. Nicholas Kinsky. Daniel Helm. Catherine Parkill. Daniel Donovan. Shi Yidang. Huang Wu Yao. Liu Zuhu. Li Xiaoya. Ji Yuqiao.
Congratulations to all of you today as you become alumni of the Carlson School of Management at the University of Minnesota. And here to welcome you into the Carlson School's alumni family is Craig Seitel, President of the Carlson Alumni Board. Craig is the CEO of Axis Thought Capital, a New York City-based broker-dealer firm which he founded in 2007. Craig is a two-time graduate of the Carlson School of Management. Like our speaker of the day, he earned a BSB in 1984 and an MBA in 1988. Craig currently serves as the chair of the Carlson School's Alumni Board and is a committed volunteer and generous supporter of the Carlson School and the University of Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, graduating class of 2013, Please join me in welcoming Craig Seitel.
Thank you, Sri.
Thank you.
How's everyone doing? Let me rephrase that. The only thing between you and happy hour is me. How's everyone doing? It's a great honor to be here today. I'm Craig Seitel. I'm president of the Alumni Association. And it's in a particular joy to be here today because this marks the 11th year that I've been on the board of the Alumni Association and the end of my 2-year term as president. I actually graduated from the College of Liberal Arts in 1984 and did my requisite 2+ years of work before I joined the master's program at the university. I graduated in 1988 and I migrated to New York City in 1993, where I currently reside. Now, the Carlson School as we know it today did not exist when I joined the business program. Kurt Carlson was in the process of putting together a significant naming gift and providing intellectual guidance for this school to become one of the elite schools in an endeavor to pursue academic excellence. By the time I graduated, our school was in fact known as the Carlson School. Now, when I was in school, I interned for the Carlson companies, and I was also a TA for the undergraduate business program, and I had the good fortune of teaching some undergraduate classes. So in that sense, I'm sort of a poster child for Carlson School. But along the way, not only did that help me pay bills, but I developed an enormous respect and loyalty for our institution. And I enjoyed the experience so much that I continued to teach evening classes and mentor students until I left Minneapolis. Since then, the school has been on a phenomenal trajectory. The institution has developed into an exceptional and dynamic place of learning, one of which is unique in the world. And the word is getting out. During my business travels, which have taken me throughout the United States and much of Europe, I always find it amazing and with such pride as I talk with colleagues and contemporaries and get such positive feedback about our school. My challenge for all of you today is to reflect on this experience, work hard, be diligent, and have fun with your lives. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy what you're doing, stay connected to the school. It comes back in multiples. I have, and some of the things that have occurred along the way for me personally is an incredible professional experience being connected with the school, intellectual insight, and I've developed a number of friendships that I am just shocked that I could develop at this age and stage in my life. There are alumni of this amazing institution in most cities across this country and in many countries around the world, many of the major cities in Europe, and now Asia. We are 50,000 people strong, and today you join these ranks. Those of you who are staying in the Minnesota area, Minneapolis and so forth, there are wonderful events and activities and programs sponsored by the institution and the Alumni Association. In fact, there's one in August. It's Carlson Day at the Races. This is held at Canterbury Park in Shakopee, and it's sponsored by Kurt Sampson, who is also an alum of the Carlson School. We expect that there should be, as normal, more than 2,000 people attending that this summer. If you leave the Twin Cities area, I encourage you to seek out fellow comrades, alums, and you can do that through platforms that are provided by the university. Seek out what programs are offered by the Carlson School and the Alumni Association and take advantage of it. These things are enormously wonderful and really give you a leg up in the communities you guys are pursuing. I'm biased, in particular, in August this summer in New York in the Central Park. We've had for the past 6 or 7 years the Central Park Boathouse event, which I've hosted and will continue to host. That's going to be August 6th. If you're in New York City, please join us. If you need an excuse to go to New York City, it's a great time of year to come. There will be 100 to 150 people there, as is normal, and just a wonderful experience all around. Now, I do have a special word to announce on behalf of the Carlson School alum. I'm excited to recognize the class of 2013 for their dedication to the Carlson School. Over the past few months, 148 students, approximately 1/3 of the class, gave to the senior class gift to support the Bob Ruckert Scholarship Funds. Their gifts and matching gifts from generous alumni leaders raised over $7,000. It is my honor to recognize this commitment and look forward to the class of 2013 continuing to give back to the Carlson School community through their time, talent, and treasure. I hope the experience each graduate had over the past 4 years inspires them to support their fellow alum and future students of the Carlson School. Thank you for your generosity and continued commitment to the Carlson School. And before I wrap this up, I'd like to acknowledge my 7-year-old son and my parents, and one of my closest friends who is a fraternity brother here at the university with me, and his son Riley and Jim. Max, where are you? Can I see you wave? There you are. Mwah. So we're an amazing fraternity, an amazing sorority of very special people, and today I salute you for your incredible achievements, and I look forward to hearing so much more from you in the future. Good going, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig, for those remarks and for emphasizing the importance of finding a way to stay connected with your alma mater. We would not be able to create the great transformative experience we have here without the help of our alumni. At this time, I would like to invite Regent Beeson to the podium for the official conferral of degrees. Will all degree candidates please rise? Regent Beeson. On behalf of the Carlson faculty of the Carlson School of Management, I present to you the Carlson School of Management's undergraduate class of 2013.
Thank you, Dean. And as they say at the Carlson School, let's get down to business. Upon recommendation of the faculty and by authority of the regents, I now confer upon you the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations, class of 2013, Carlson School of Management.
Congratulations to all of our graduates and, even more importantly, the people who helped them get them to this place in their lives. Now, will everyone please rise and join Karina Carlson as she leads us in singing Hail Minnesota. The words are on page 24 in your program. Afterward, please be seated until the graduates and the faculty have completely recessed out of the arena. I thank all of you for coming today and invite you to a celebratory reception immediately following the ceremony in the DQ Club Room at TCF Bank Stadium, just across that way. On behalf of the faculty and staff at the Carlson School, I extend our warmest congratulations to all of you. Class of 2013.